The rolling hills of Japan's most famous tea-growing region stretch out in every direction, bathed in gentle morning light. The air is crisp, and a faint, sweet scent drifts across the fields. At first glance, these lush green bushes look like any other tea crop, but there's something very different about what you're seeing. This is the birthplace of matcha, the vibrant green tea powder that has captured the attention of tea masters, health enthusiasts, and cafe goers around the globe. Every spoonful of matcha carries with it centuries of tradition, meticulous farming practices, and a dedication to perfection that is unlike anything else in the tea world. Today we're going behind the scenes to uncover the journey of matcha, from the moment the leaves are shaded in the fields to the instant they're whisked into a frothy bowl of emerald liquid. You'll see exactly why matcha isn't just a drink. It's a story of patience, artistry, and deep respect for nature. Our journey begins weeks before harvest season in the early spring. Here the tea plants are covered with large canopies that block out the sun. These aren't ordinary covers. Traditionally they were woven from straw, but today many farmers use black netting that carefully controls how much light reaches the plants. Blocking out the sun might seem counterintuitive for growing healthy leaves, but this is the very secret to matcha's distinct color and flavor. By reducing sunlight, the plants slow their photosynthesis, producing more chlorophyll and increasing their levels of amino acids, particularly L-theanine. The result? Leaves that are a richer green and have a deeper, sweeter umami flavor, free from the bitterness that comes from direct sun exposure. For about 3 to 6 weeks, the tea bushes remain under these shade covers, absorbing the cool, filtered light and concentrating all their nutrients into the youngest, most tender leaves at the top of the plant. When the timing is perfect, usually in early May, harvest begins. This is the first flush, the most prized picking of the season. Only the youngest leaves and buds are selected, hand-picked in many traditional farms, or delicately clipped by specialized machines in larger operations. The farmers are looking for the very top 2 leaves and the unopened bud, which hold the highest concentration of flavor and nutrients. These leaves are destined to become tencha, the raw leaf form that will eventually be transformed into matcha. The lower, older leaves stay on the plant, or are used for other types of green tea like sencha, gyokuro, or kukicha. In the moments after harvesting, every second counts. The leaves are alive, and oxidation can begin almost immediately, which would darken the color and change the flavor. Within hours, the freshly plucked leaves arrive at the processing facility. Here, the first and perhaps most critical step begins: steaming. The leaves are passed through steaming machines for just 20 to 30 seconds. This short burst of steam halts oxidation completely, locking in the vivid green color and preserving the fresh, grassy aroma that matcha is known for. Unlike Chinese green teas that are pan-fired, Japanese teas like matcha are steamed, which results in that signature sweet savory flavor and smooth finish. As the steam rises and the bright green leaves soften, the factory fills with a rich, fresh scent that is unmistakable. Immediately after steaming, the leaves must be cooled to stop any residual cooking and to prevent moisture from damaging them. Large air cooling machines blow a gentle but constant stream over the leaves, drying their surface and separating them so they don't clump together. The leaves are still incredibly fragile at this stage, so every part of the process is carefully monitored. From here, the tencha leaves move into long, multi-tiered drying machines, sometimes called tencha row furnaces. These are not for roasting, but for dehydrating the leaves without altering their flavor. They pass through a series of conveyor belts in temperature-controlled chambers, starting cooler at the entry point and gradually getting warmer, until the leaves are perfectly dry, yet still maintain their vibrant green hue. Once dried, the tencha leaves must be sorted and de-stemmed. This is an important step because matcha is made from pure leaf tissue with no stems or veins. Machines gently break apart the dried leaves, separating the light, delicate blades from the heavier stem material. This process also removes any leaf veins that could affect the smooth texture of the finished powder. The result is pure feather-light leaf flakes that crumble between the fingers, the essence of what will become matcha. Any leftover stems or thicker leaves are not wasted. They are often used for making other teas, or even as a component in roasted blends like hojicha. The tencha is then graded. Experienced tea masters examine the color, aroma, and texture of the leaves. Some are brewed in hot water to evaluate taste directly. The highest grade leaves will be reserved for ceremonial matcha, the kind used in traditional Japanese tea ceremonies where flavor, aroma, and visual beauty are paramount. Lower grades, still of excellent quality, may be blended for culinary matcha used in lattes, pastries, or ice cream. This grading process is as much an art as it is a science, relying on years of experience and a deep understanding of what makes matcha exceptional. The next step is perhaps the most iconic: grinding the tencha into a fine powder. This is done using slow-turning granite stone mills, a method that has been perfected over centuries. Each mill consists of 2 large flat stones stacked on top of each other. The upper stone rotates slowly, powered by a small motor or, in older times, by hand. The tencha leaves are fed into a central hole at the top, where they are gradually ground into an ultra-fine powder between the stones. This process is intentionally slow. A single mill may produce only 30 to 40 grams of matcha per hour. The slow speed ensures that no heat builds up, which could degrade the delicate flavor compounds and nutrients. As the powder falls from the edges of the mill, it has a velvety, talc-like texture and a deep, brilliant green color that almost glows. Once ground, the matcha is immediately packed to preserve freshness. Exposure to air, light, and heat can quickly cause the bright green color to fade and the flavor to become dull. That's why matcha is often sold in sealed, opaque tins or foil bags, and why high-quality matcha is best stored in the refrigerator. From farm to cup, maintaining the integrity of the leaf is everything. The difference between a vibrant, umami-rich matcha and a dull, bitter one lies in these final moments before sealing. But the story of matcha is not just about its production. It's also deeply tied to Japanese culture and history. Matcha's origins can be traced back to the Song dynasty in China, where powdered tea was whisked into bowls. The method was brought to Japan by the monk Eisai in the late 12th century, and over the centuries, Japanese tea masters developed their own unique cultivation and processing methods, giving birth to the matcha we know today. In the 15th and 16th centuries, the Uji region became the heart of matcha production, with the Oishita Saibai shading method laying the foundation for the high-quality teas that would be enjoyed by the nobility and samurai. Over time, the tea ceremony, or chanoyu, evolved into a highly ritualized art form with matcha at its center, symbolizing mindfulness, harmony, and respect. Today, matcha has traveled far beyond Japan's shores. Cafes and cities across the world serve matcha lattes, smoothies, and desserts. Health-conscious consumers prize it for its high antioxidant content, gentle caffeine boost, and calming amino acids. Yet, despite its popularity, true, high-quality matcha remains something special, a product of precise agricultural conditions, skilled craftsmanship, and unwavering attention to detail. The matcha in your cup may have taken weeks, even months to prepare, with each stage carefully executed to protect the leaf's color, aroma, and flavor. When you finally open a fresh tin of matcha, the aroma that rises is unlike anything else, sweet, grassy, and rich, almost like fresh-cut spring greens mixed with a hint of sea breeze. A small bamboo scoop measures the fine powder into a tea bowl, and hot water, never boiling, is poured in. Using a bamboo whisk, the matcha is whipped into a frothy jade-green surface. With the first sip, you taste not just tea but the entire journey, the shaded fields, the gentle harvest, the careful steaming, the patient grinding. Every step along the way has been leading to this moment. Matcha is more than a drink. It's the culmination of history, nature, and craftsmanship, distilled into the smallest of servings. From the farmer who tends the bushes in the stillness of early morning to the tea master who inspects each leaf, every hand that touches matcha adds to its story. As we move deeper into the matcha making journey, the factory hums with a kind of quiet precision. There's no chaos here, no rushing. Every machine, every hand, every motion seems to exist in perfect timing. The air itself feels different, rich with the scent of green leaves, slightly warm near the dryers, and cool and dry near the milling rooms. You can almost taste the chlorophyll in the air. Workers move with deliberate calm, checking gauges, monitoring temperatures, making subtle adjustments that could mean the difference between an average matcha and an exceptional one. There's a constant awareness here that the leaves they're handling are alive in a way, even after harvest, sensitive to heat, light, and air. The people who work here aren't just technicians, they are guardians of flavor. At one end of the room, freshly steamed leaves tumble gently down from a conveyor, their surfaces still glistening faintly. They pass through a curtain of cool air that flutters them like tiny sails, lifting and separating them so they dry evenly. The noise is soft, the sigh of air through vents, the faint rattle of conveyor belts, the occasional rustle of leaves shifting position. This is where the tea begins its transformation from something leafy and fibrous into something impossibly fine and smooth. It's almost like watching a slow dance, where every movement is intentional. Every step leads to the next without hurry or waste. We follow a small batch of leaves through the drying stage, where the temperature is carefully stepped up in stages. In the first chamber, it's just warm enough to evaporate surface moisture, and you can see the leaves relax and flatten as they lose their slight curl from steaming. In the next chamber, the heat rises a little more, but it's never enough to scorch or alter the deep green pigments. Instead, the leaves become lighter and more brittle to the touch, but they still glow with that unmistakable emerald color that signals high-quality matcha. Workers take samples at intervals, checking them by sight and touch, snapping a leaf in half to listen for the crisp sound that tells them it's just right. Too soft, and the drying isn't finished. Too brittle, and the leaf might crumble too soon and lose its structure before milling. When the leaves emerge from the final dryer, they no longer resemble the fresh, plump foliage from the fields. Instead, they are delicate, almost paper-like flakes. This is tencha in its purest form, the base material for matcha. It's not something you'd steep like regular green tea. It's too light, too fragile, and would never produce the same experience. Its destiny is to be ground into the silkiest powder imaginable. And then, we come to the most mesmerizing stage. Stone grinding dot. Each pair of stones is perfectly balanced and aligned, moving slowly against each other at a rate that might seem painfully slow to the impatient eye. The upper stone has a small central hole where the tencha is fed in a few flakes at a time. The grinding surface is grooved in a precise pattern, channeling the leaves outward while simultaneously breaking them down into microscopic particles. It's not just grinding, it's more like shearing at the cellular level. This is the magic of matcha. It is at once ancient and modern, local and global, humble and luxurious. It invites you to slow down, to pay attention, to appreciate the artistry hidden in something as simple as a cup of tea. And once you've seen how it's made, the shading, the harvesting, the steaming, the drying, the sorting, the grinding, you'll never look at that bright green powder the same way again. You'll see not just a drink, but a journey. One that began long before you lifted the cup to your lips and that will continue long after, in the hands of those who will make the next harvest and the next and the next.